More testimony today in the trial of admitted Charleston church shooter Dylann Roof. Today, we're learning more about how Roof got a hold of the gun he used to kill 9 parishioners at Emmanuel AME Church. News 2's Carolyn Murray has been in court all day. She joins us now live from downtown with more. Carolyn.
Good evening, Leva. Another day of the government showing us the direct steps that they say admitted Charleston church shooter Dylann Roof took before opening fire on the People in Bible study at Emmanuel AME Church June 17, 2015. In the video that was shown in court today, you can see who appears to be Dylann Roof looking at a case at a gun shop in Columbia that held Glocks, a powerful weapon very often used by police officers. We also found out today in court that Dylann Roof filled out a form that allowed him to indicate things such as his mental health, drug use, and whether he had ever been convicted of a crime. Dylann Roof had been convicted of drug possession and should not have been allowed to purchase a weapon. It was a point the defense tried to, or rather the prosecution tried to point out tonight. They said a failure in this system allowed Dylann Roof to purchase a gun. Also in the courtroom today, an FBI agent was on the stand as well as firearms agents, and they talked about many things such as information found on a computer found at Dylann Roof's father's home. On that computer, we read more about what appeared to be writing similar to a manifesto that we learned about last week. News 2's Ashley Yost was in the courthouse all day, and Ashley, the testimony from that FBI agent, in those writings by Dylann Roof, as we understand them, he appeared to classify races. He used analogies as to why races should remain separate, and he also declared that his life is worth his belief.
And there were 2 copies of those, the paper one that we saw earlier at the end of last week, and also that one that was on his website. And before those were 2 firearms experts, an FBI agent and also one with SLED, and they talked about the bullets that were possible to go inside that gun that Dylann Roof had inside his car. The ones that Dylann Roof had were hollow point bullets. And the agent described that these are the kind of bullets that would cause the most amount of damage, the largest wounds. That was difficult to hear here in court today. And first on the stand was former SLED agent Brittany Burke. She now works in Tennessee, but at the time she was in charge of processing the crime scene and also Dylann Roof's car. They went through some of the things found inside, some things typical: a towel, a box of Sprite, others not, an empty package of bullets, and multiple lists. One had roughly 5 to 6 churches in it, and their addresses, their phone numbers, and service times. Emmanuel AME was at the top of the list. Morris Brown AME was second, and all of them on the piece of paper were African American churches in Charleston. The agents also found similar lists with information for places in Columbia. Some African American churches also, others things like the State House and museums. And the defense has not asked many questions throughout this case, but they asked some today. They asked questions about the items in Roof's car, his clothes, how they were haphazardly thrown. They asked if the agent thought these clothes seemed dirty. Carolyn, she responded yes to that. And at the time, those questions might have seemed irrelevant. We even heard some chuckles from the media room, kind of in a, why are they asking these questions about how his clothes were thrown in his car? But I talked to defense attorneys before this case who they said, even in the guilt phase, they're going to be planting these seeds that they will sow in the sentencing phase. And it seemed to me as though they were trying to humanize him. I turned to the guy next to me and referenced my 23-year-old brother's car, and you know how his clothes are haphazardly thrown in it. Just seems like they're trying to make him human to hopefully get him out of the death penalty, the defense, in their attempt to get him out of the death penalty in the sentencing phase.
Any reaction from Dylann Roof? We know that we are not seeing Dylann Roof in the jail garb that we've become accustomed to seeing him in, the gray striped jumpsuit. Today, of course, he was in the courtroom again, this time simply wearing a sweater.
And Carolyn, they were scrolling through those images you were talking about of him, almost as though he had set them down and taken them of himself. And I watched him as he looked down, expecting him to glance over at the screen at the images of himself showing up. He didn't do it one time.
All right. right, Ashley Leos, thank you for that. And of course, I want to show you and take you back to a little bit of what happened over the last couple of days. Over the weekend, the defense actually filed a motion to remove testimony from Felicia Sanders from evidence. Felicia Sanders, you certainly remember, the survivor of that church shooter. She, of course, was the first person on the witness stand last week, a survivor of the shooting at Emmanuel AME Church. And for the second time, the defense filed a motion asking for a mistrial because of some of her very compelling, very emotional testimony. The defense asserted that Sanders' testimony might influence the jury's decision during the sentencing phase. And of course, the judge once again denied that motion. Back to you at the desk, Liba.